Be careful when visiting the fairy forts of Ireland. You could become a permanent resident imprisoned by the Fae. Some folk find it difficult to express themselves, a lot like me and Malcolm Reynolds on the TV show Firefly. It's Pub Songs and Stories, show number 240. Welcome to Pub Songs and Stories. This is the virtual public house for musicians to share the stories and inspiration behind their music with your host, Marc Gunn. Subscribe to the podcast at pubsong.com. Welcome to Pub Songs and Stories. I hope you're doing great this week. I had a whole bunch of gigs this past weekend, which was a trip. There have been 3 gigs here in Atlanta where I currently live. They were all at breweries. I was at Iron Shield Brewing on Friday. I was at, which was a last minute gig. I don't even think I mentioned it on this show. Then there was Firemaker Brewing, and then I did a farmer's market, which I was a little bit concerned about doing all these shows. My voice has been, since Dragon Con, and I think I overextended my voice back then, I had a lot of trouble being able to sing on a consistent basis where my voice wasn't cracking up at the end of it. So I was really concerned about doing 3 shows over the weekend, but I got them booked and I said, what the heck, let's give this a shot. And fortunately, everything turned out great. My voice was strong pretty much all weekend. I think there were a couple moments when I pushed it a little hard, but nothing so bad that it was a problem. So today I feel good. And the best part about it is when you sing, 3 hours a day for 3 days, you get stronger, you practice more, and it's really kind of fantastic for just developing your vocals. Over the past few months and the past year and a half throughout the pandemic, my voice has gotten stronger and stronger because I'm still singing on a regular basis, but I don't have the, getting sick in between, which slows things down and such. So overall, I was thrilled with the weekend shows. So first off, I want to let you know that today's show is brought to you by my gun runners on Patreon. And of course, they get to hear the show before you do. So if you're not a patron, maybe you should consider it. And this past episode, the one that I did, 239, I gave away my recording of Johnny Jump Up. That came a few days after the show was released. So if you enjoy the songs that I do, when you become a gun runner on Patreon, you'll also get those MP3s as well. And of course, I have lots of other podcasts and blogs that I share there as well. Special thanks to Jen Evans, Panya Gwen-Eris as well for becoming new patrons, or rather, returning as patrons. They both. Well, I know Jen was. I don't think Panya was. But thank you all so much for supporting the podcast. Now, if you're not yet subscribed to my In the Verse podcast, I do want to highly recommend it. Mikey Mason and I launched season 2 this past weekend. In this show, we watch some pop culture media that we love. Then we write a song about it. And the first season was all about Firefly. But season 2 will explore Doctor Who, Mandalorian, Peaky Blinders, The Hobbit animated film, and The Big Damn Movie, among other offerings. Go to fireflydrinkingsongs.com to subscribe. I also published the latest Celtfather music and travel at the beginning of this month, and that's a monthly podcast where I talk about my musical successes and failures from the previous month. I share my stats as well, which I personally find sometimes pretty fascinating, sometimes others, not so much, but I also rant on a topic. And this month I talked about what's next after CDs. I've talked about this a lot in blogs and podcasts, what happens as CD sales continue to decline. Now, certainly I've started putting out vinyl records. I have my latest album, As Long As I'm Flying, is now on vinyl. But it's also not a financially viable solution for me. Other people maybe more so. But I came up with an idea which is all about using basically lapel pins as a physical alternative to CDs. And I talk about it in that episode. If you want to check it out, head on over to celtfather.com to subscribe. I'd love your feedback and thoughts as well, if that idea appeals to you or not. Let me know. Drop me an email. You can send it to sing@pubsong.net, where you'll also get some free music and some special gifts. And you can sign up to my mailing list if you so desire. You will not be forced to sign up to anything. All right, upcoming shows. Of course, every Thursday I am doing Coffee with the Celtfather. Actually, I say that, but I'm skipping the one this week because we are going on vacation. But this weekend I will be at Multiverse in Atlanta, a science fiction convention here. And October 21st is Firefly Drinking Songs. That's my next live streaming concert. It's from 8 to 9 p.m. and tickets are now on sale. All right. Today, I have a Faery tune to share with you. Well, I don't. Muireann has a short little story to share that she recorded with Gerry O'Byrne during my Celtic invasion of Dingle back in 2019. And we brought them into, when I do my Celtic invasion vacations, what we do is I try to bring in some musicians at least once during the week that come into wherever we're staying and they play music for us, wherever that may be. We sat in our dining room and they shared songs and stories, and it was a brilliant time. One of the ones that I recorded was this Faery tune. Portnabuke is the title. She officially released the track on an EP last year called Seaborn that I'm just finding right now. But that's okay, and she has another EP as well and is finishing up a CD, it looks like, called Reimagined. Roisin Reimagined. So I would highly recommend you head on over to muireann.ie. You can follow the link in the show notes at pubsong.com for show number 240. All right, this, of course, is not the studio recording, but I'll let Muireann tell the story for you right now.
And Magical Sounds wanted to play it, so when he got home, he took out his fiddle and he tried to remember the tune and what he had heard that night. And some people say that the music he heard was the sound of whales. It was like whale song reverberating off the canvas boat, and some people say maybe it was seals, but he called it Portnabuke, which means the fairy tune. And there are words to this as well that my father received from a member of that family as well, and the words tell the story of a woman who was captured by the fairies, and she can only return at night, and she can never stay. She has to return back into the fairy fort every morning, but that she will be crying and wishing that she could be home as long as there is water in the wave. So it's a beautiful piece, kind of depressing, but I'll play something happy afterwards for you.
curiosity, she didn't turn into a sheep, did she?
A sheep?
Yeah. Just checking. We visited some sheep at a ferry port, and there was one that I'm pretty sure was a human, and it was like converted into a sheep. And
did the sign say "pet the sheep"?
Yes.
You know that's for children, right?
Yes. We resemble that, by the way.
You do know who you're talking to.
He does now.
They sound really human.
There's one that was like, it's like in my face. I'm a human, man.
Help me. I grew up with them outside my bedroom window.
Again, if you want to find out more about Muireann, go and follow the link in the show notes. You can check her out. Gerry O'Byrne is also over there too. That's muireann.ie and gerryo'byrne.com. Support what you love. If the music that you just heard makes you happy, support it. Buy something from the artist or become a patron. You can also become a patron of mine over with the Gunrunners Club on Patreon. Your support pays for the production and promotion of my music in this podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can drop me an email at, again, sing@pubsong.net. Save 15% with an annual membership as well. All right, so now it's time for the story of She's Shiny. But before I do that, I want to ask for your feedback for a sec. So this past weekend, as I was at the Firemakers, I was talking to Carol. And for whatever reason, I think we were talking about Mingle a Boat Song. And I started telling her a story about the origins of how I recorded the song. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I was like, well, I don't know why I haven't done a story about that on Pub Songs and Stories, so I'm going to plan on that for next month. But it occurs to me that perhaps there's a song that you would like to learn more about. Well, if there is, then drop me an email and ask me what story is that, and maybe I'll record the song and add it as a story for a future episode of Pub Songs and Stories. And now the story of She's Shiny. One of my favorite Firefly songs to sing, and for that matter, well, pretty much any of my songs to sing, is She's Shiny, and it was released on my last album, As Long As I'm Flying. The song is about Malcolm Reynolds, played by Nathan Fillion from the TV show Firefly, and throughout the 14 episodes of the show, he has this, let's call it a crush on Inara Serra, the ship's companion, played by Morena Baccarin. But he has a lot of trouble telling her about how he feels, and the sexual tension between the two is incredible, and it builds, and of course it all comes to a point in the episode Heart of Gold when we realize that Inara has just as many repressed feelings for Malcolm as he does for her. Now, I, for one, have certainly suffered from an inability to adequately express my feelings. It's a common stereotype, I think, among men in particular, but I know there are a lot of people who have trouble expressing how they feel about someone. I still remember when I was in the second grade, I had this crush on a girl, and someone recognized that crush, and they vocally pointed it out on the bus, and I was so embarrassed. I pretty much stopped telling anyone from that day forward if I was interested in anyone else. And that's one of the things I love about the song is it is very relatable whether you enjoy Firefly or not. But the song makes so much more sense when you have seen the episode. So throughout the lyrics, I relate a story of a guy who's interested in a woman. Each of the verses connect to episodes where Malcolm and Inara interact in those sexually tense scenes. And the first verse talks about Inara's unknown past, and it is often wondered what or if she was running from something. It alludes to Malcolm calling her a whore through a quickly changed rhyme scheme. The second verse was inspired by the episode Shindig. Malcolm attends a ball that Inara was hired to go to. He picks a fight with Inara's escort, and with a little bit of luck, he wins the fight. The third verse talks about Inara and how she relates to Malcolm. She teaches him how to use a sword. She gets angry at him when they don't go to civilized planets. And once again, the song alludes to her sexual career. Now, it's the last verse, though, that makes me love this song so much because it's subtle. Again, unless you really know Firefly, you probably won't get the joke. The verse talks about finding her in a down and out dirty place. It revisits the idea that perhaps Inara is running from something. But then in the final line, it's revealed that the whole song is actually about Malcolm's spaceship, Serenity. So basically, he's so sexually repressed that his great love, who is in fact Inara, is replaced with his other great love, his spaceship. The song makes me so happy. I guess it's because also it gives me a little bit of hope. At least there are people who are even more oblivious than I am. All right, without further ado, here is She's Shiny. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I will be back again next week. Sláinte. She's shiny, oh so shiny. I don't say a word, I'm in love with that girl. Yes, she's shiny, oh so shiny. She keeps spinning around and round in a whirl, carrying the weight of heartache from her past, running towards a future that won't last. What a beaut, that girl makes my heart soar. She lights the night like a brightly shining star. 'Cause she's shiny, oh so shiny. I don't say a word, I'm in love with that girl. Yes, she's shiny, oh so shiny. She keeps spinning around and round in a whirl, dressed up for a fancy ball in the dark of night. Ain't gonna pull my punches 'cause I love to fight. Before I knew, things got out of control. I set my sights on making it out whole. 'Cause she's shiny, oh so shiny. I don't say a word, I'm in love with that girl. Yes, she's shiny, oh so shiny. She keeps spinning around and round in a whirl. Sometimes she doesn't like the way I deal. Sometimes she lets me know it's steel. Sometimes she sets good men on fire. Climb aboard and she'll ride down your spire. 'Cause she's shiny, oh so shiny. I don't say a word, I'm in love with that girl. Yes, she's shiny, oh so shiny. She keeps spinning around and round in a whirl. I found her in a down and out dirty place, head down a feeling of disgrace. I looked inside and I saw hope in her eyes. I knew right then that that firefly would fly. 'Cause she's shiny, oh so shiny. I don't say a word, I'm in love with that girl. Yes, she's shiny, oh so shiny. She keeps spinning around and round in a whirl. Yes, she's shiny, oh so shiny. I don't say a word, I'm in love with that girl. Pub Songs Podcast is produced by Marc Gunn. The show is edited by Mitchell Peterson with graphics by Morena Nelson Designs. You can subscribe and listen wherever you find podcasts. You can also subscribe to my mailing list. You will get regular updates of new music, podcasts, special offers, and you'll get 21 songs for free. Welcome to the pub at pubsong.com.